Never, since the serpent tempted Eve to eat the fatal apple and commit the original sin, has the Vatican faced such a monster as Charles Darwin and the modern scientific theory of evolution. But why? Many, even Roman Catholics, have no idea. Why can't the Pope be reasonable and accept the world has moved on since the Middle Ages and make a few sensible changes? The short answer is the curse of papal infallibility. This is little understood, but Pope Benedict XVI will know it only too well. It is a cross he has to bear, and it will eventually destroy the Church. Since 325 AD, when the laws of Christianity were set in stone by the Emperor Constantine, the doctrine of original sin has been enough to keep believers in Christianity, and Roman Catholics in particular, in line, under the pain of eternal damnation for 1,400 years. Original sin has made the Vatican rich and powerful for centuries. Never in the Vatican's wildest dreams did it ever think the absolute authority of its doctrines would be questioned. So, in 1870, the Pope enshrined papal infallibility forever. Henceforth, every teaching of the Holy Bible or Holy Tradition was infallible and had to be accepted by the faithful on pain of excommunication. From 1870 on, it would be impossible to contradict previous infallible teachings, even if they were found to be wrong. Papal infallibility became an unalterable reality. From 1870 on, all popes are handcuffed in a way that no scientist has ever had to face. That of being wrong and not being able to admit it and move on. The Vatican's worst nightmare came true. The modern scientific theory of evolution simply proves that Adam and Eve never existed. Therefore, no original sin, no fall, and no need for God to send his Son to redeem the world. And of course, no Pope required. There is no scientific doubt about all this. To date, unlike the theory of gravity, the modern scientific theory of evolution continues in the light of new discoveries to go from strength to strength. It proves that the Bible is incorrect, and for the infallible Pope, who is an intelligent man, this spells disaster. However much the Pope would like to embrace the modern scientific theory of evolution and pass Adam and Eve off as an allegorical symbol, papal infallibility will not allow him, on pain of excommunication, to admit that God got it wrong, now or in the future. Fortunately for the Vatican, most believers are very hazy on this topic. The majority of believers have a vague understanding of the concept, but are unaware that the Pope, even if he wanted to, can't change anything that is covered by this edict. When Pope Pius XII declared that the bodily assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary into heaven was to be believed on pain of excommunication, and cannot now ever be contradicted. If Our Lady took off bodily, like a space rocket, and space is infinite, where is she now? Only 2,000 light-years away, and possibly still visible by a powerful telescope. If space travel had been planned in 1950, the bodily assumption of Our Lady might have been postponed. Since then, ex cathedra statements have been wisely halted, but there is still the big problem of Adam and Eve and original sin to address, as there is no doubt that this is covered by papal infallibility and cannot be contradicted, even if it appears to date they don't exist. The best he can do is masterly inactivity. Try and make the very explicit Bible text fit the facts, and pretend that the Church accepts the modern interpretation. It's called theistic evolution. But this is not a theory in the scientific sense. Another answer is the hypothesis that God and science can live side by side, each occupying its own separate universe and each going its own way. God doing it his way slowly, and the world by reason and research. And if God breaks a few laws of nature on the way, God is entitled to do this. God has that power. No scientific peer review necessary and no need to question papal infallibility. Whew, problem solved. Or is it? It is true that a God, any God, can do what he wants. Gods are not bound by the laws of the universe, but humans are. The first humans that God the Father is supposed to have created were just that, real humans, our real ancestors, and so bound by the real laws of nature. Adam and Eve have to be real, as they really have to commit that sin, and they really have to show up in the evolutionary timeline if mankind is to be punished for eternity. They don't. Because of papal infallibility, the Pope is stuck forever in 1870. To date, the best Pope Benedict can do is to say, unofficially, he accepts the modern scientific theory of evolution, and that all Catholics can do the same, even though, if you think about it, this spells the end of his reign. It is now time to end this crazy state of affairs, put the Bible back on the shelf, and go out and smell the roses.